So good morning, everybody. Just a couple of quick things before we dive into marketing planning. We'd love to do some introductions. My name is Sherry Sprecher. I have pleasure working with all the offices except Turtle Creek. We'll say that, and just a couple of Turtle Creek agents too. And Catherine?
I do Turtle Creek and Rancho Land. So
very excited.
Yeah, it's a world of fun. Yes.
Yeah. The next item real quick is housekeeping, my least favorite word in the whole world, but it kind of serves a purpose for what we're about to talk about. So we will be taking a deep breath in between each section, and would love to have you pop in, take yourself off mute, and ask any questions as we go along. And of course, if you would like to have separate meeting moving forward after this call, a lot of you are already on group meetings or individualized meetings schedule anyway. But you know, if we want,
if it's been a while and you need to get back on the schedule,
exactly. And then there are some assumptions we are going into this marketing planning session. So the first one is that each of you have worked on your unique value proposition. So when we're talking about some marketing plan ideas and tactics, you have a solid understanding of what differentiates you in the marketplace.
Because you'll need to be able to speak to that.
Exactly. And if this is a time for an opportunity to refresh that or to attend a class, our friends at Sotheby's International Realty have a great class on unique value proposition. They call it the FBI. And you can find that schedule on nextlevelser.com. We're also going to assume that you have time blocking on your mind, whatever that looks like to you, but you have seriously thought about time blocking in some way, fashion, or form, because that'll be important to maintain the consistency of your plan that you're putting together and to have dedicated focus to your plan. Doesn't have to be long. It can be 10 minutes every day, 15, depending upon how robust you want to get, but that it's something that you have time blocked for you at least 3 or 4 times.
Otherwise, the best laid plans, it'll never happen.
Exactly. Which then leads us right into failing to plan is planning to fail. So our goal and assumption here today is to encourage you to have some sort of plan. And what Catherine and I will talk you through today is a template. And that's just what it is. It's a template. It's in Excel, so you can change it up and to make it your own. And so this is really just an idea for you to take with and swim.
Kind of a starting point.
Exactly. So given that, I'm going to stop share just for a second because we're going to go to a different screen. I say that like I'm know what the heck I'm doing, excuse me. So we are going to, and you can follow along if you want to open a different window. So at this point, you should be seeing my screen, which is BF Office. So where you can find this marketing plan template is on BF Office. And if you scroll down, you'll see marketing plan resources right here. If you click on that, then that is going to take you to a little write-up of encouragement. And our favorite word is going to be consistent throughout the hour that we're here together. And then right here, you'll see a blue tile that says download planning template. And I'm going to go ahead and do that and see if I can still, oh, great.
Perfect.
So we are definitely on the right sync here. So far, so good. And if you want to add any comments as we go along, we'll try and take a quick look at those in the Zoom chat. So far, so good. Okay, great. So here's the template. Once again, we say that this is definitely in an Excel, so you can make it yours as we move forward. But we thought we would give you, if you will, the whole Walmart, if you will, of marketing plan, or Neiman Marcus, or
whatever.
Yeah.
Let's be a little bit more positive about our plan here.
Yeah. Well, it's just, you have the super, Walmart centers, right? Okay.
No, still.
So Catherine and I are doing a morning talk show here with you this morning. So, and we have coffee.
Free coffee,
right?
yeah.
Cool. Okay. So that's kind of giving you just a moment to go ahead and, on your other screen or open another window so that you can follow along with us. There are 3 sections to this marketing plan. The first section is a budget calculator. Second section, where we're going to spend some time on, is your monthly plan. And then the third section is called monthly communication plan, which we'll go over. But starting with the budget very quickly, as our advertisements said, we are going to be able to help you build a plan that's not taking money out of your pocket unless you are at a point in your strategy that you want to go and attack it a little bit differently. Yeah. But today, most of the things we're going to talk about, are just time, right? And follow through and consistency. So that's good. So the first section here, we always want to make sure that you're really comfortable with everything that the brand is doing, the brand meaning Briggs Freeman and Sotheby's International, to provide you air cover on a consistent basis. And by defining air cover, that means everything that we are doing as a brand to predispose buyers and sellers to the name Sotheby's International Realty and Briggs Freeman Sotheby's International Realty. So at your leisure, you can go through all of these great items, but the big picture is to know that you've got great air cover that's working on your behalf every single day of every single month of the year. So now we're going to jump into marketing tactics, and I'll take the first couple, and then Catherine, I'll pass them over. And Catherine is monitoring the chat box, so if anything comes up. So this is where the housekeeping item is. We'll kind of go through the last couple, go through a couple of items, take a deep breath, and ask if there's any questions. So the first thing we always recommend you do several times a year, and you can see we have laid out a suggested time plan through the year to do this, is to make sure you Google your name, review all your online profiles, review your Briggs Freeman profile, your Realtor.com profiles, and any other social profiles that you have, whether it's your Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, etc. The goal is to always keep those up to date. And we recommend at least once a quarter to go in and either update your photo, update a couple of lines in the copy, make sure your phone numbers are right, make sure your testimonials are loaded up right.
Your solds are still online.
Your solds are still online, exactly.
You'd be surprised how many agents will look back and they say, it says that I'm still raising my children. They're out of college now. So, well, you know what? It's time to update the bio.
We need to fix that. As you well know, consumers, your clients will go online first to check you out. So that's your first impression. That's your first place to continue the trust that you've built with your clients. And then any referrals that come along, they'll be checking you out online. So please do that. We have resources that can help you review your profile, help you rewrite your profile, but highly recommend that so that every quarter you're updating it in some way so it moves up in the Google juice. This helps you, once again, build your brand online. The second thing is, which is near and dear to everybody's heart, is always auditing your BF Engage contacts. This probably should have been under assumptions too this morning when we talked about it. You do have a database. I'm going to assume you have a database. Please have a database. That's your gold mine.
That's the first thing you should do while you're getting your license.
Exactly. And what the sweet spot of having a database is between 150 to 250 on your database inside ReChat. That's workable, right? And that database should be people that you know, like, and trust, your past clients, etc. And even if you're an agent that has just started with us and just got your license, to some of our legendary agents who are on the call, thank you, ladies. We are highly recommend that you at least quarterly look at your database. Ideally, you should be in your database weekly because you've met people, you've had conversations, you've done open houses, you've been networking, but the database is the gold mine. So I know I'm preaching to the choir, but
You'd be surprised, again, back to the, you're saying the kids were raising the kids when they're out of college. Well, think about how many life changes have happened to people where they've gotten married or divorced or a spouse has passed away. Or, I mean, you could be wasting your money by sending out postcards to people who have already moved. I mean, anyway, it just helps to look through it. And it also will tell you, you'll see somebody's name on there and it'll make you think, oh, you know what? I forgot to add so-and-so. She should be on here too. Yeah. So it's really helpful to get into that database and just know that it's just it's just a work. It's never going to be perfect. You're just going to keep adding and taking away.
And the cool thing is, I'm sure all of you have also, this should also been an assumption that you've either done Ninja or the Ninja installation and or the Ninja selling book that you're reading the book, right? Because there's wonderful statistics in that you can get so much business, at least 10 transactions out of your database every year. So hopefully we've not beat a dead horse on that, but
probably, but still it's important. So
it's still very important to do that. And the last section here, and then I'll take a deep breath, are real estate reviews. So as you're putting together your marketing plan, one of the tactics that we highly recommend is that you include doing real estate reviews. And you can see that we have suggested that you do at least 5 per month. If you want to do more, that's great. But those real estate reviews and their separate training on that is really an icebreaker. And as you well know, keeps your clients informed, and it gives you the opportunity to ask for a referral.
And you don't even have to have clients yet. I mean, you can be new and still send out real estate reviews. And there's a way to do it, which doesn't make it look like you're doing a hard sell, that keeps in front of people. So it's not all about, or you could have it where one agent was telling me that her clients have already gone to their last house. They're into their smallest downsized home, and they're like, I don't have anything else left to sell to them. And I was like, true, but you could send real estate reviews and that, and possibly send it to their kids and so forth. I mean, there are options to do. It just looks like you know what you're doing.
And one agent also put together a little flyer for their open houses, offering a real estate review to anybody who comes through, obviously who's not represented. And she has started many conversations just doing that, because once again, you're providing something of value to those conversations
that they can't do on their own.
Exactly. So I'm going to take a deep breath, and if anybody wants to come off mute and ask any questions or put them in the chat, that'll give me a second to catch my breath.
I see one chat in here. Our buddy Gavin, it said that he's noticed that when we upgraded our website, that a couple of solds have fallen off. That's a great call out, because I know that we have tried to make sure that everything was smooth sailing, but occasionally if something does come off, that's great to know. What you're going to do is you're going to get a picture of your sold, or if it's something that's already been on before, we probably have that picture already. Email your office coordinator and tell them that you're missing a house. Give them the address. If it's something that was already on our website, they should have the photo. So, anywho, so that let's see, example of a real estate review. There's actually, she said, Sabre was wondering if there was an example.
Oh my gosh, yeah, there's a great training that Jennifer Edwards does. And we can send that to you.
Yep. I can mark that down, Sabre. I can take care of that.
Yep. And it should be on the Success Center, but we'll send you.
I wonder, it might actually be, anyway, yes, it's definitely on Success Center. It's been recorded. We go through the whole class. It might be someplace else as well, but let me just make sure. So I will, I'll send that out to y'all, Sabre.
Yeah. And the class that Jennifer does is really streamlines the whole process. Everybody, a lot of times I get the feeling that agent thinks that it's overwhelming. Well, the way Jennifer teaches it, it's very streamlined. It's using the branded CMA.
Exactly. And you only have to do it. The first time is the one that takes a little bit of time. But then you use the same format and the same kind of recipe, if you will, to do this, to do every one of them. So, I mean, it's not, it's, once you've done it once, then you're like, okay, well, here I go again. This is easy. I've got the template ready to go. I've got I know exactly what I'm pulling. I know exactly what it's just so much easier. So,
Yeah.
so
And it
just
can
give
be
yourself a
hard
few
copy
minutes.
or it can be sent, you know, via email. I see one more question and then we'll jump in.
Well, let's see here. I caught a number of mine. Let's see how well at off market with the price. You need to provide a picture address. You do need to do those if you're right, Gavin. Gavin's put in the chat that he caught a number of his were missing, and that they will add the off market without the price. You need to provide a picture, address, bed, bath, those kind of things, square footage. True, date sold. That is true if it has never been added before. If it's already been added and it just fell off, we might already have that information. But yes, if you have it, that makes it even a faster process.
And from
Thanks, Gavin.
Yeah, and from a legal perspective, you have to have both parties A-okay to do that, right? The seller and the buyer, because for a reason it was off market.
Yes.
Is that what I'm saying?
Yes, or yes, especially the off market. And then represented buyer, you also need to make sure that you have access to the photo.
Yeah. So there's a whole little drill there. Yeah. All right. So let's move on. Another marketing tactic that you might want to consider for building your brand name awareness, building engagement, is a Meet Me video. Now that does cost dollars. So that might be something maybe right now you don't want to deal with, you want to deal with in the future. But we always put this tactic on here because it's a video component, right?
And it's something to aim for as well. I mean, I would never suggest somebody who's a brand new agent do it. But you know, somebody who's an agent who's been there a while, then I think it's great because you can put it on social media and, you know, you can do a couple, it could be a several part thing. One, a picture of it while you're doing it, you know, hey, you know, that could be a post, and then a post when it's done. And then of course it's on the Briggs website, your bio page. So it's something to aim for. It's kind of expensive, but long-term, I think it's a good thing to have.
Right. And if you have resources that do Meet Me videos.
Oh yeah, don't be our person.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be, you know, a preferred vendor, or if it's something that you love to do yourself, right? And do little clippets along the way. Just what we're saying here is you want to have a little bit of video, and maybe you shoot it yourself, just saying, you know, hi, I've been in the business X years. And this could also be used when you're talking to referrals, right? Let's say client X refers you to client Y who doesn't really know you. You can text that video and say, hey, I'm looking forward to meeting with you. Just quick little background on me. I'll give you a call, you know, in 2 minutes or whatever, because that you can do very quickly on your own. And that right there doesn't cost any dollars. So this next section, we could talk days on social posting. But what we highly recommend, obviously, is to have a plan for your social posting and a strategy for your social posting. So typically we're Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. I know TikTok has gotten a lot of lift ongoing here, but this section is definitely worth a one-on-one with Catherine or myself so that we can dive into this a little bit more and focus on what your unique value proposition and how you go about doing that. We have, this is a commercial, inside WeChat, there are so many social media assets that you can use, especially with the new campaign. Nothing compares to what's next. I'm going to let the cat out of the bag a little bit, but on Monday, on our Monday morning meeting, Maria is going to announce that we've downloaded many more assets from.
There's like 3 or 4 that are on there right now, but there's more coming.
Yeah, from Sotheby's International Realty. So we give you all the tools here. We just highly recommend that you keep a regular cadence along this. Next thing here is highly recommend doing some texting. Target about 10 on your database per week. You know, whether I know a lot of you already do a lot of texting, but, you know, once again, making it consistent, making it a deliberate thing, checking in. I have to share with you, I was working with a team last month and we rolled out this texting, and now they have 4 listings because they go, oh my gosh, I was just thinking about you, you know,
Yeah.
so-and-so is going to move. So, big fan of that, along the way. That's complimentary, right?
Yeah.
It just takes working, time blocking it to do it.
Yeah. And once you
Yeah,
start,
I work that in.
yeah,
time
uh-huh.
blocking, yeah.
It's almost like you planned it.
Yeah,
Yeah, it gets easier the more you do it as well.
exactly. The next section we're going to go through here is direct mail. Now, this is a catch-22 with direct mail. We love direct mail. It has to be consistent, has to be done at least monthly. But there's 2 ways to look at it. If you send it to your own sphere, who already know, like, and trust you, it's going to work harder.
Mhm.
And you're saying, well, what can I send to them? Well,
No, there's so many things you can say.
yeah, I would always start out with just listed, just sold, and then market data. That's a good
I'm
cadence
a
to go.
huge fan of market data.
Yeah.
You know, some people say it doesn't matter what you send,
Mhm.
as long as you send something. I'm not one of those people that says that. I think that, you know, there's a
Yeah.
place for Happy Mother's Day, Happy Father's Day, but really to be value added, market data tells them, you know, what's going on in their market. Because, you know, that's the first thing they want to know is what's going on in my market. Well, this tells them, and it shows that you know the numbers, and you can make it as specific as you want to. So it doesn't have to be, oh, this is what's going on in North Texas or DFW. You could say, this is what's going on in, you know, the Disney streets. I mean, like, it could be whatever you want it to be.
And it could be something fun, like, you know, as we're going into summer, which is already summer and 150,000 degrees, but, you know, something about Colorado, right? Help them do a little bit of escapism, you know, or Maine, you know, someplace cooler. So once again, Catherine and I can help you brainstorm on messaging that fits. So that's one category that we highly recommend, that if you are going to invest in direct mail, really focus on those people who are already in your database. But then I know the question will be, well, how about if I'm trying to own a neighborhood, right? And direct mail can help there, but it can't stand alone. So
And it takes more time.
And it takes more time, right? At least 2 to 3 years. And there are tools called Remind that we can go in and select those 100 and 150 that we can mail to. We can go in and filter those most likely to move. But then the trick, not only to sending the postcards, is being in the community, networking in the community, showing up at the community pool, showing up at whatever community events are going on. So, you know, walking your dog in the community, that's going to really make all of that sizzle. One can't stand alone.
Well, just think about it. They get so many postcards or so much mail to begin with, that if they don't recognize you, it's just harder for them to really notice it. But after a while, they start to recognize you, and they start to, especially if you have value added, they start to notice what you're saying, and it becomes valuable enough that they then really trust what you're saying.
Yeah, and trust what you're saying. So I'm going to take a deep breath, and then Catherine, I saw a couple things pop up in chat.
Yes, we have, it looks like Zareen under the code of BSFI or training, and put on there an attachment of what she said that she sent as a real estate review this summer for her brother. So that is an option as well. And I'm sure, knowing Zareen, it's a good one. So.
Yeah. Super. If you want to come off mute at this point and ask any live questions, we're more than happy to do that. Okay, then let's
based on the dead silence.
Yeah. We're going to keep moving on here for you. The next section is digital agent branding or property ads. As you all know, right now, every time you get a listing, Briggs Freeman Sotheby's International does a week of complimentary digital ads for you. So that's great as it goes along. something to consider as you move forward in building your plan is the branding that BF Boost allows you to do is to once again target the people that you already have on your database, right? So if you can kind of see the layering we're doing here is that we are talking to them, texting them, doing social media to them. And if you feel you want to get a little boost, no pun intended, or maybe intended, I'm not sure. If this might be an opportunity that you'd like to consider. And this kind of, it all depends on your time frame, how fast, and you want your pipeline to be strong. I know a couple of you attended Sandesh's training here yesterday, which was fabulous. And one of the things that hits home every day is that we want our business to be consistent, right? We want to be able to plan for our income levels. And so this is one way to help making sure your business is sustained for a long period of time and keep that pipeline and that flow consistent for your.
And he mentioned the 30, 60, 90 days kind of thought process. Really, it's really the main thing was the 90 to 100 days. What you're doing now affects what your business will be like in 90 to 100 days. So start sending out postcards, start sending out letters, start sending out text messages to these people, even if it's June and you're like, well, God, I know they're going to be out summer. The last thing I'm thinking about is selling or buying. But in 3 months, you're going to be in now we're going to count on my fingers, months, June, July, August. So you're going to be in the beginning of fall. And that would be the time when people, if they're going to be moving and want to get moved by time summer, till Christmas happens, they're going to be working on it then. So
Exactly.
It can't hurt to start working on it now rather than waiting till everybody gets back in the summer and then starting it.
Exactly. Next section here is if you feel that you want to do some sort of print advertising, we can talk about that too. The Wall Street Journal, has been super successful for a lot of agents showing their properties or quarter pages. So I'm just going to leave it at that, right?
I would spend money there, hands down every time.
Yeah, on the Wall Street Journal. Yeah, for sure. Next section is open houses. You all are pros at this. What we're highly recommending is that, a minimum of 1 per month along the way, so that you can keep having those conversations. And what's really cool, there's like that sweet spot between prospecting and marketing. So anytime you do open houses or do networking, hopefully, you're right. Marketing is left brain or right. I don't know, whatever side the marketing brain is on.
Or hopefully your brain works at all. Yeah, we're working on it. Yeah.
Is that you're thinking, oh, great, I've either put them in my database, so I'm going to follow up somehow with a phone call or a text. But just every time you meet somebody, that marketing brain should kick in. It's like, it shouldn't be a one and done.
Yeah.
I'm stating the obvious, I know. Next, our favorite subject are our newsletters. So we highly recommend at least once a month to do that. Inside BF Engage, there are many different formats. Maria has also started an automatic campaign twice a month that, takes any thinking out of it and just putting your database in on it. But the really sweet spot about newsletters, and if you're looking to people to call or to reach out to, is open up inside BF Engage the agent insights.
Because then what your success, whether you're being successful and it's a good use of time,
right,
or whether it needs to be tweaked, and
exactly,
the responses.
Yeah, but the other gold mine that's in there is you can see who opened it.
Exactly. Well, that tells you whether or not they're being successful or not. Because if people open it and read it, then that it's something that people like.
Exactly. And so Sandesh, the trainer for Sotheby's International Realty, also said, and I wanted to go up and give him a big hug when he said that, is that awkward, by the way. Yeah, it would have been awkward. For sure.
Just saying.
Yeah. Weird. It would have, Susan. You were there. Is that when you check those insights, call those people.
Yeah.
Call them. And one of the questions was, well, isn't that,
Unless they've unsubscribed, and that again,
Yeah.
this might be weird.
well,
but-
they wouldn't pop up though, right?
Yeah, good point.
Is call them. And you all are wonderful conversationalists. And if you send out and have a 40% increase open rate, which is awesome, and I'm going to make up a number, let's say that's 25. During your time blocking time, that's take 5 a day and text them or say hello and ask them for referrals. He was point blank saying
It's hard,
every
but-
kind of conversation should be referrals. And, to Catherine's point, yeah, that's kind of hard.
But that's the only way you're, they don't, I keep hearing from people, from top successful agents saying, if for some reason clients don't, without you asking for it, they don't think about
Yeah.
doing it.
And the untapped resource or untapped business is that the referral, you can help them, as you well know, whether they, are somebody in New Jersey or somebody in North Dakota. You want them to call you first so that you connect to the right person in that state for them. And now you have another income stream coming in. So those insights into the newsletter of that tool is invaluable. And if you just start doing that, if nothing else, for the next 6 weeks, you're going to see a really nice increase in your conversations, in your engagement. And Catherine and I can help you kind of work out how to bring up referrals if you'd like that assistance. But you all are just fantastic in your communications. So, and use the Ford method, right? That Ninja Selling has, is always using the Ford method.
And there's a way to do it no matter who you are. I mean, like my mother does not like to ask for business. And I have been beating her over the head, poor thing. Not literally, but figuratively. And she's getting better about it. I mean, it's hard to do. It's hard when you're not, when that's not part of your personality to do it. But I will say that it makes a difference.
It sure does. It sure does. And down here under the newsletter section is kind of looking at your whole sphere. And sometimes we forget some of these things, especially, our alumni, connections when we want to build out our database. Of course, our past clients. And Sandesh said something also interesting. There are no past clients.
Yeah,
We
treat them
only
all as
have clients. So, and then he threw out some startling statistics about how much business we lose because we don't stay in touch with our clients. So,
Not really a one and done kind of
yeah, and I'm not going to tell him because it's a downer. But anyway,
thing. Life lesson down,
So,
or
yeah.
whatever. Yeah.
and then think about all the contacts that you have around the world, and think about all the contacts that you have here in the States, that and go through your phone. It's just constantly updating that gold mine, which then you'll put into ReChat so they'll get you newsletters. So as you can see, we're layering here. We're talking to them on social, we're talking to them texting, we're talking to them digitally. If you have, just want to do the week of complimentary on your property, we're talking to them newsletters, right? And so far we haven't spent any money. So you can have some robust things going on along the way. Next section, before we take a deep breath, are personal notes. I just love personal notes, and that is just part of your conversation. And once again, it's being consistent with what those are. It just doesn't have to be birthday. It just doesn't have to be
Oh
anniversary.
my gosh. I got
Yeah.
a note from an agent because I joined a club and she was so excited that I was in it. She sent me a note, and it wasn't like she was looking to get business from me. It was just, that was part of her daily routine, is sending out notes to people. And that was, and she probably got into a lull and needed something to write. And so she wrote me one. And I remember thinking that was just the sweetest thing.
Yeah.
I mean,
And I know many of you probably came on the call today wanting to have a magic tool, right? Or a magic wand. And what we are reviewing are those tried and true business marketing tactics that really impact your business. And what breaks our heart is that we're not doing it consistently. And these gold mine tools done consistently, I've seen, across the nation on all of the networks that I've worked with, that those who really, really, hunker down on these are top producers across the board. So once again, I'm going to take a deep breath. If you'd like to come off mute and ask any questions, or we're going to be looking at the chat. Anything in chat, Catherine?
Not really.
Okay.
So I'd love to jump more into digital advertising if time. So,
Okay.
well, there are lots of things you can do with digital advertising. There's of course a property digital advertising that you can do on Boost. There's also web that's just for social media. And then there's also the web advertising you can do on Boost. You can do that as far as a property, or you can do that as a branding. Now there's two caveats. Property is really self-explanatory. When I say the web ads, it's like a Google ad. So anytime you're on weather.com or whatever, and you scroll, there's some sort of ad, that's a Google ad. So you can do through Boost, which is what we had showed you earlier.
Well, and how to get to that is you
BF
go to
Office.
BF Office. There's a little blue tile that's called BF Boost, digital ads. And in there, to what Catherine is describing, you can either do a digital ad for your property or do digital ads for branding. And you can order right on that.
Yes. And I would say that the property ones are like choose, it's self-explanatory. You can pick a zip code or do whatever, that kind of a thing, and add your sphere. When it comes to branding, it really should be more sphere oriented than it should be zip code. Because if you think about it, if you saw someone's face, if you didn't know them, your chances are you're not going to click on them or remember it as much as you would if it were your sphere. Your sphere will see your face and it'll mean more to them, and you'll get more engagement because of it. But I think that the property one is good for everybody to do.
For sure. And there's many different budget ranges in there, so that can work with what you're thinking about overall when you're putting a budget together, if you're at that phase.
And this is just a layer on to everything else you're doing, a layer on to the text messages, a layer on to phone calls, to taking your client to lunch, or a layer on to the notes you write. This is just all, it's not one, if one thing would do it, then that's all we would say. Hey, just do this one thing.
Yeah, pray. No.
That might work,
That might work.
Sometimes it hits a ceiling and comes down.
So where you can find that is, once again, in BF Office. There's a blue tile that's called BF Boost Digital Ads, and Catherine and I can help you walk through that. The other tool that we just rolled out was the digital program from the Wall Street Journal. And I've been working with 2 agents that are using that very aggressively, because what that helps you also do is zero in on DMAs. And what DMAs are basically city hubs. So like the Nashville, the Washington, D.C.s, the Naples, the Los Angeles. So if you have a particular property, or if you have looked at your database and done an analysis of where your business is coming from, and it happens to all be coming from Chicago for some reason, this might be a very good tool to go into a specific Chicago area and do some branding advertising with the Wall Street Journal. Probably getting a little bit too much in the weeds with that. I apologize, but that kind of Sabre gives you kind of the big overview on that. And I see we have another question. We need to show.
No.
Oh, okay.
I think we're caught up.
Oh, okay, cool. All right. Awesome. I'm going to move on to the next section. And this is what we highly recommend, is also doing agent-to-agent network within Briggs Freeman Sotheby's International Realty, because referrals come from within the company too. So if we have sales meetings that are in Fort Worth, we have sales meetings that are in obviously Turtle Creek, in South Lake, in the north. I'm not forgetting anybody, am I? I would highly recommend that maybe once a month you try a different office, so that your name is at the tip of their tongue, right? If they're moving in the particular areas that you work, because that's also referral dollars that go along there. So that's your agent to agent here at Briggs Freeman. But when the time is right, and hopefully it's always right, we want to get you networking within the network with other affiliates that you have connections with in a particular area. So that's where the G&Es, the T&Es come in. But there's a stage before that where Catherine and I will say, okay, you happen to have relatives that live in Kansas. Let's go and look at the Sotheby's office in Kansas, see who those agents are, see who you connect with, reading their profile, start following them on social media, and then kind of reaching out from a newsletter perspective and a phone call perspective. So that's another way that you can take full advantage of the network.
Also, don't forget about the simple one of coming to the huddles, coming to the office.
Mhm.
I can't tell you how many deals I've seen come through that have been off-market deals where, and Susan, you can back me up on this, that, you know, Ralph, for instance, Ralph, one of the agents here in Turtle Creek had a deal, had an agent, a client that needed a high rise, and Susan and another agent had the client, you know, and they would never have made that match together that fast. I mean, it was just in conversation, you know. Ralph was talking about how he had a need, and they were like, well, we haven't even put the house on the property on the market yet. And it never even hit the market. So you just never know when someone's going to say, oh, you know what? I know somebody I can call or whatever. So come to the office. You'd be surprised how many deals go through that way.
Exactly. The next tactic is networking community activities. All of you on this phone really zero well into that, but it's being consistent. It's picking things that you love, right? So that builds out how you're working with and getting engagement. Client appreciation or pop buys or things like that. We suggest twice a year, always doing that. I know many of you do that a lot more extensively, which is totally awesome. And then on here, we have listed out what the plans are from a company perspective and different months of themes and things. So you can take a look at this at your leisure. So the reason why we put this on here is that you can share the assets that come out because of this. That's a real easy thing so that you don't have to double think it or double do it or anything like that. We'd rather have you working, and I always get this wrong. It's either working in your business or on your business. We don't want you spending time admin wise, right? We want you doing the things that you love and excel on that. And then also we have put what the blog subjects are, because I know a lot of you like to add something different to your own newsletter, etc. But here are the blogs that we have on briggsfreeman.com that you can share and include.
And they're always adding new ones. So
yep.
The blog is a really great place for ideas for social media and newsletters.
Exactly. And last but not least, so that you're ready to go in a heartbeat, if you want to think about a pre-listing presentation, you know, a customized listing presentation, some buyer's guides, these are all sorts of things to kind of review as you put together your marketing plan. So that kind of gives you what the air cover is from Briggs Freeman and also from Sotheby's, and then tactics that we kind of laid out the cadence we recommend, and then also the consistency that that'll give you. The next tab here is called your monthly communication plan. Now, this kind of zeroes it down a little bit more. And Adeline, I know this is the part that you love, is you actually want to see what you're communicating. So what we have done here is laid out information of how you can select all of the tools and what we suggest from a postcard perspective, from a digital boost perspective. Now, you don't have to fill in everything here, but sometimes it's just kind of good to know what you've sent. Yeah, ideas, and then to show what you have done yourself, right? Because the budget planning part of this is extremely important, because your time is money too. So you can put a value to texting per hour, you know, doing your newsletters.
And it would also help to know, you know, once you put all this information in to say, yes, I've been texting, I've been doing this, or these are the postcards I sent out, or whatever, it'll allow you to look back and say, oh my gosh, I got so much of my business from it, you know, to let you find out kind of where your business is coming from and where you want to spend more money on
Mhm.
next year, or consistently, or continue to spend money on, or continue to spend time on, or, you know, it allows you to really know where your business is coming from, or help you know where your business is coming from.
Exactly. And the last thing here is if you need ideas on what to text, we've given you a couple of intro sentences, so you don't have to start with a blank screen. So that's good. So I'm going to take a deep breath at this point. If you have any questions inside, please put it in chat or come off of your voicemail. But just to quickly review, we're assuming you have a unique value proposition. We're assuming that your database, you're in love with your database, you work your database, that you're ninja selling as far as maybe an installation or the book itself. And so then what we did was we specifically spent time within the monthly marketing plan, sharing ideas of what we can do. And when those are done consistently, you can increase your conversations. So no magic wands, they're not out there. It's just picking what resonates with you that you can commit to on a consistent basis when you're time blocking. And so a commercial for Catherine and I, we'd love to walk you through this or continue to talk with you through it. And you know,
we're free.
And we're
Just saying.
well, you might be,
Yeah.
but anyway. So any other questions? Anybody want to come off mute for anything? Let's see, we're doing a quick check here.
Yep, still nothing. We're good.
Yeah.
And just as a note for Zorene's version of this, make sure everybody has contacted her if they want CE credit one way or the other.
Yeah. Anything else you see coming?
She said that's the only way I know who wants CE credit.
Okay.
Well, there you go.
There you go. All right, we'll stop sharing here, and it's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for your time, and we look forward to following up with you. Thanks.
Yes.
Yeah.
All good.
Cheers.
We don't get any
Bye.
champagne out of this, do we? No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have a great day.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.